In today's show, we're going to talk about something I find really exciting, and that is the whole subject of building a micro SaaS as a product. SaaS is software as a service, and the micro part of it is scaled, means it's scaled to a manageable level for an individual entrepreneur, a solo founder, solo programmer. In other words, someone like you and me. And it is possible to do it with WordPress as the development framework and custom plugins as the logic that glues it all together. And we're going to go through a SWOT analysis of kind of the pros and cons of this as a product. And I think you'll find it exciting.
If you are motivated to learn to code the 21st century web, from plugin products to microSaaS, welcome to the Plugged Into Programming Show with your host and professor, Jamie Rowe. Jamie is a computer engineer and solo founder of the wpplugincollege.com. And now, over to you, Professor Jamie. Concepts.
Very exciting and interesting, both from a technical standpoint and from a business standpoint as a solo founder and a programmer. And it is creating a micro SaaS. Now, all the things we've been talking about the past 3 or 4 ideas have been SaaS, a software as a service. And again, what is a micro SaaS? Well, it is something that is scaled. It's an idea that's scaled down to a level that an individual or a very small team of people could create and develop, test, and manage as a small business. So this could be more of a lifestyle business thing. I almost consider WP Plugin College to be a micro SaaS because I don't want to hire 30 people or 300 people to help me do this. This is something I'm doing as an individual. I might have some assistants and things like that, maybe hire a graphics person here or there or whatever, but it is something that I'm doing and want to scale on a human level so I can talk to people and get to know them. So that's something that, that's kind of within the individual. Now, of course, you could create something that just goes crazy and you end up scaling and getting a huge team and have a full-blown SaaS company. But I'm going to start out looking at this as a micro SaaS. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details. So again, this is something that's focused on a niche, scaled to a solo founder. Of course, we've already said it's a software as a service model. I would say medium complexity and up. You don't want to, unless you come up with something really, really snazzy and super simple. But I would say it's going to be a medium complexity level. And of course, it is subject to having subscription or recurring revenue, which is a really cool model. So let's go ahead and start looking at this SWOT on this one. Well, I'm really looking back from micro SaaS to all the other ones that we looked at, especially the very first one, idea number 1, which is a plugin being sold as a software product. Well, micro SaaS is definitely easier to support than selling a software product like a plugin, because this micro SaaS is running on a server or centralized location host. So let's say we're basing this on WordPress and we're using plugins to power it. And, I can install this on my system. I have control about what's installed, how it's configured, how it's backed up. There's no conflicting other things that some other, website admin is installing or anything like that. So it definitely is, the technical support should be pretty good here. Now, a micro SaaS can be so focused that it follows rapid application development methods. I mean, you can be making an idea that doesn't take like a year to put together because you're not building, a Facebook or an Evernote or some other huge thing like that. You're starting out with something that's a smaller, more focused idea to a more focused clientele, which is also easier to market to. Your SEO, your way to outreach to people that could be your customers. That's you don't have to market to everyone in the world. You got to find places where those people that want this specific, very tightly niched service are located at, and reach out to them. So let's look at the weaknesses, internal weaknesses. Okay, again, if you're so unlucky that this idea just catches on fire, and you instead of a couple hundred clients that supply you, $8,000 a month in revenue or something, you're getting $80,000 a month in revenue, and you've got to scale up and do that. Boo hoo hoo. Okay, just kidding. But it is something to think about that. Can you scale it up? Do you want to do it? If you do, you've got to have the knowledge and the planning for this. But again, you can start out very micro and, make a go of it. Now let's look at the opportunities. Well, again, I like this in certain ways because source code does not have to be open to the world. It's not. This is something that's running on your system, and nobody has to know what's under the hood. So it could be built with your super proprietary algorithms and all of your creativity poured into your plugins and other parts of it, or you could be even using third-party resources, libraries, plugins. Nobody has to know what's in there. It just has to do the thing. This is definitely trending. Solo founders, people looking to build a lifestyle business that's scaled and is specialized in their interest areas. This is definitely trending. microSaaS, huge, very large, huge market potential, because we're not dependent on our clients that are going to pay for this on, say, a subscription. They don't have to be WordPress users. They don't have to be anything. They just have to have a way to reach us through a browser or whatever and get to our service. So potentially, it's even a bigger market than, say, building a product, a plugin that you're going to sell to WordPress admins or WordPress website builders. So that's interesting opportunities. Okay. And I would say one of the threat areas here is, you're building a service, a thing that's a business. And if you're dependent on the WordPress, obviously, core features and other third-party plugins you might be using, you've got to be on top of your game and make sure you have staging servers and other test things that you're going to follow. So when there's new versions of this stuff coming out, which there always are, that you are able to keep your service alive. Because the bottom line is, this is people are paying you that you want this to work, and you don't want it to go down, at 3:00 in the morning and not have a plan how to make it come back up. You've got to have the knowledge to build this well so that it's reliable and doesn't drive you crazy. Especially if you want this to be a lifestyle business, you don't want to have to worry all night and all day and weekends. And, again, you're going to have to put in the work, but you want to be able to, be aware that the buck stops with you, especially on something like a microSaaS, which is very specialized and something that hopefully you have a lot of passion for. So,
coaching.
As usual at these shows, I like to give just a little bit of coaching and mentoring at the end. And I felt like, this is a good one because microSaaS is something that is, it's trending right now in the development world because there's so many of us really are questioning the way that we work in the corporate world. You hear about the great resignation going on and those kinds of things. But, this is always something that's just below the surface, especially with technical people like us. If we're programmers, if we're IT, maybe we're analysts or whatever we are, A lot of times we get, excited, listening to podcasts, reading posts, reading books, watching YouTube, and we get motivated to try to do something on our own. And I just want to say and emphasize that, really take a close look at microSaaS out there. And you don't always have to be coming up with something that's going to make $1 billion and get sold off to Google. You can do something that's scaled, that you can start up, that you can operate, and that can be a sustainable stream of income coming in. And if you listen to podcasts about people that have done this on their own, you can see, you could get to a MRR, monthly recurring revenue, that could maybe replace your entire salary, or at least augment your current salary. And the sky's the limit on what you can come up with. You might have an idea that other people have, or maybe even there are other software solutions out there for it, but you have a specific individual perspective on the world. And always remember that has value. There are other people like you out there on the internet. So you don't have to appeal to the millions and billions of people on the internet. You only have to appeal to a small niche market. So I've always heard, people that are writers, write for yourself. If you're a programmer, program for yourself. Try to scratch your own itch and solve something that you want solved. And you probably will find that there are other people out there with the same needs and the same motivations. So what I'm just trying to say is, don't get discouraged. If you find, my idea has already been done 10 times over or whatever, but you haven't done it. So that's why I started WP Plugin College to help people learn to do things on their own as much as they can. We can build on the foundations and shoulders of giants, basically, by using an open source, development system like WordPress and its customized plugin programming system. And we, as individuals, can make real, valuable products. And microSaaS is just one of the types that you can do, but it is really exciting. It has a lot of cool advantages, and I hope that you will take a look at it, and I wish you good luck.
To join our conversation and get the show notes, please visit us at thewplugincollege.com.